up guys and welcome to a new video. My name is Frank and I react to metal music. Man, lately I'm streaming so often, I'm kinda missing doing this intro for every video because of course when I stream I usually don't do it because I'm streaming. Would be weird, right? But yeah, today I'm here finally to react to the documentary of MISA from BAND-MAID. You know, I already did the one for Saiki, the one for Akane, and the one for Kanami. And now I got to MISA. And of course, these super cool documentaries are made by Orenji, and I will leave his link for his YouTube channel here on video description. So please go there, and if you don't know him already, show some love because this stuff is super cool, and I'm very excited to learn more for MISA, know of MISA. And I'm excited to know more of MISA, you know what I mean? And this time I gotta say particularly excited because she's my favorite member of BAND-MAID. You know, I usually play guitar, I'm a guitarist mainly, but her playing style on her bass is amazing. I love her style, I love how she acts in the band. She's basically bassist but second guitarist as well, you know what I mean? Because Miku of course does rhythmic guitar, but basically solos are usually only done on guitar by Kanami, but there is a but, because Kobato does all the rhythmics basically, but there is MISA and she acts as a solo guitarist as well. No? So basically they have two soloists in the band, just one is a guitarist, one is a bassist. But yeah guys, before I start this reaction, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you like this video, give me a like and a comment. If you have more suggestions from me, just want to share, whatever. Let's start.
次はベースミサにしましょう。
ミサちゃん。
ベースのミサ。
ミサちゃんは1回目で言ってびっくりされるのはステージドリンクがウイスキーストレート。
本当にあの人酔っ払うんです。
ねえ、もう本当に2時間と
Actually gets
か
drunk.
長いとやったり
すると結構後半はもう、フラフラというか
もう
ベロベロというか
ベロベロですもんね。出来上がりつつある感じですもんね。
あるかなって感じ。
まあでもよりね、なんだろう、グルービーなベースを。
そう。
I mean, that can't be healthy, right? They also said that she plays even better when she gets drunk, so I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation, right?
ベースの演奏が良くなるから
緊張しいだったりちょっとするところがあるので、
ピュアだから
ピュアだからとてもバンドメイドで一番純粋な心を
Purest heart.
持ってる。
見た目はねクールビューティー
クールビューティー
なアジアンビューティーな感じなんだけど
海外からのね人気はすごいですもんね。
Yeah,
一番
she
で
is.
すね。
ミサミサってそのコールが起きるぐらい。
だって怖い印象を受けるのね、
They do chant that, right?
最初は
あんまりこう喋らないからね。
そう怖い人だと思ってましたっていうコメントよく見る、
ね、でも小学生みたいなねことですごい
ゲラゲラ
くだら
笑う
ないことでミサちゃん一番笑うし、
変顔もすごいする、
もう一番そういうの大好きだもんね。
I mean, there is a reason why they call her the barefoot assassin, right? But to be honest, to me, she's not scary at all. Not gonna lie, but yeah.
だから怖いとは一番真逆
真
に
逆です
いる。
一番面白い人かもしれない。
そうだっぽね。バンドメイドの一番面白い人だっぽね、きっと。
With an introduction like that, I think we can figure out who's going to be highlighted in today's video.
Yep.
So today, let's talk about MISA. MISA was born on October 15th in Okayama, a prefecture close to Osaka, and next to Hyogo, where Akane was born.
Interesting.
According to her mother, she was an easy child to raise as she used to play by herself. Even though she was a lively child, she always avoided dangerous situations and tried to act like an adult. She loved music and arts in general, but hated studying. And just like Kanami and Akane, music has been a part of Misa's life since her early childhood, as she started to learn piano when she was around 4. In elementary school, she joined a brass band and played alto horn. Right when she entered junior high school, MISA moved to Tokyo due to family circumstances, and her temper changed a lot. She had a hard time fitting in with life in the big city and getting along with her peers from the same grade. She was also afraid to be judged because of her accent, which was different from the other children, and became more and more introverted. In 7th grade, she started to play guitar, but ended up joining a concert band in 9th grade, where she played the trumpet. Even though she did learn
So
a lot of
different from bass, right?
instruments, she kept learning piano for a few years. In high school, she played as a guitarist vocalist in a Keon club with a Fender Squier model that she bought. One day, an older friend of MISA asked her if she could join his band as a bassist. Until then, she'd never thought about playing bass. She started to play guitar and always wanted to play drums, but bass? It had never crossed her mind. MISA borrowed a bass and started to play, and even though it was difficult, she loved it and bought a Squier P bass immediately so she could give back the bass she borrowed. And one of the main reasons MISA got introduced to music at such an early age was that her mother listened to music all the time. This is how MISA got to hear bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and The Who when she was still only
their mother
in
is a
kindergarten.
very
Her
big
mother
rock
was
fan.
also very supportive and helped MISA choose the right school when she hesitated between university and professional college. MISA started a course on sound engineering in a professional college before changing to a bass course, as she didn't want to work behind a stage, but on as a professional bassist.
Cool.
Before talking about BAND-MAID, let's take a look at MISA's past experience in the music industry. Except for small bands during her school years, MISA had been a member of a band named Prototype for 5.5 years.
Oh, never heard about this.
2008 and
Interesting.
2013. Prototype was a small band composed of 4 members, and the band made at least 2 mini-albums and performed several live concerts. We don't have that much information, but it seems that they sold their CDs directly and not via music stores.
Super duper
They used to
underground band,
perform
right?
in and around Shimokitazawa, which is where MISA lived, and Shibuya. There is a review of one of their live performances which states that they sound like the Smashing Pumpkins and are appealing to everyone who loves
So
Western
very
music.
classic rock.
The person who wrote this review also said that they couldn't stop smiling. It sounds like this band must have played some great music. But that's not all. While she was playing for Prototype, MISA joined another band called Hurtist. This band was formed with 6 members who performed live several times before disbanding in October 2012. You can find 3 of their live videos on their YouTube channel. MISA and Akane also met
I mean,
in
yes, still a
2012
rock band,
as
right?
they were going
Very
to the same
classic
school,
band,
the Tokyo
imagine.
Music School.
Classic
They
hard rock.
connected immediately as instrumentalists and worked together on several projects. The same year, they made an appearance as actors in an MV
Look at
of the
that.
singer-actress Becky with the song Yoruka Switch.
That's kind of funny.
In 2015, MISA, along with Konami and Akane, were at the 5th anniversary party of the idol band Predia in Zepp, Tokyo, as a backing band. You do remember the link between Predia and BAND-MAID, right?
So
There was a band called Mochi to Cheese made by
they knew each
Akane,
other for a
Konami,
long
and
time,
3
right?
members from Predia.
That's just.
All right, we are in May 2013.
And they then
Prototype
joined
announced
BAND-MAID
that they
together.
would disband in July, and BAND-MAID posted an audition announcement on May 29th. The next month, on June 5th, MISA announced on her old account linked to Prototype that she's going to an audition. Does this mean that MISA had the perfect timing to join BAND-MAID? Let's see how she was recruited. In another interview, MISA confirmed that Akane tried to recruit her into BAND-MAID right when Prototype announced their disbanding. But Akane didn't know about this information, so she was bold enough to invite MISA to join another band. And it paid off. Now, Misa has said that she was in izakaya when Akane called her, and she was pretty drunk, so she had to take at least the night
Makes
to think about
sense. Makes sense.
it. Misa listened to the demo and found that the songs were proper rock music and cool. She was actually afraid that this band would be an idol band. As she didn't want to stop playing bass, Misa quickly accepted the invitation to join BAND-MAID the day after Akane talked to her. So in the end, Miku recruited Konami, who was found on Nico Nico. And then Konami recruited Akane just after the restaurant she was working at closed,
And Akane.
and Akane recruited
Yeah,
Misa
yeah.
just after her group
I mean, they
disbanded.
already knew each other, so yeah, makes sense.
Wow.
Perfect
If
sense.
that is not fate, I don't know what is. Now that Misa had joined BAND-MAID, it's a new start for our favorite bassist. A new start, yes, but with one problem. The maid outfit. Misa was never into cosplay, so she wasn't used to wearing this kind of clothing. She felt really uncomfortable during the first live shows and with the first version of her outfit. It
Like
was
super
also
classic Japanese
around this
maid
time
style.
when
at the
Misa
start.
thought about quitting BAND-MAID. It was during the first or second one-man performance, and Misa was already working a lot in addition to her work for BAND-MAID, so she was in really bad physical and mental condition. She felt that the music she liked was too far from the music she played with the band, and started to think about leaving and forming a band where she could play the kind of music she liked. She talked to the manager, who proposed that she take a good look at the view from the stage at the Masters and Princesses and decide after that. Thankfully, the reactions and responses from the crowd that day moved Misa deeply enough so she chose to stay with BAND-MAID. She was sure that
Nice.
this band had great potential and could become way bigger. Time flies by, and we are at that moment where Konami is writing songs for the band. From world domination
First song,
of
right,
Lord
alone.
and Conqueror and Unseen World, Misa actively participated in songwriting on her bass lines and has felt more freedom since then. Konami gives out notes from time to time depending on the song and what she has in mind. While writing music, Misa thinks more about what would serve the quality of the song rather than be sure that it's playable immediately. She had difficulties recording some songs of Unseen World because of that, but she managed to get them recorded in the end by spending more time on the hardest parts. And even if a song is really difficult for her, Misa will always practice enough so that she doesn't have to look at her hands while she's playing live. For example, the
Yeah, that's
first
very
part of No
important.
God was written by Konami,
That's super important.
and she asked Misa to write the rest of the song. At this time, Misa was learning bass and drum programming, so she wrote those two parts, including her solo.
Yeah, this is one of the coolest solos she's got in BAND-MAID, honestly. Very cool solo.
It was a new experience for her, and she had to send
So
new tricks
bassist.
to Konami every week for Unseen World. And although she obviously sent her demos to Konami, Misa used to send them to another member, Psyche. Misa sent her work to Psyche to confirm that her bass line was easy to sing with, and also
Yeah, that's
because
also
Psyche
important for
praises
sure.
her a lot. And Misa loves to be praised by Psyche when she's working on a new song.
That's
As
cute.
she wrote in an interview, I just send them to her without saying anything in order to get praised by her. That's my source of energy. That makes me enjoy drinking better. What a great group of friends they are. There are two particularities regarding Misa when you see her perform on stage. The first one is that she never wears shoes when she's
Yeah.
playing, with some
Barefoot
exceptions
assassin,
on
right?
very hot days during outside performances, as the stage can get really hot. This is something she has done since the beginning of BAND-MAID. You can see her wearing shoes in some MV, but most of the time, she likes to play barefoot. She answered a question from a fan in 2014 on Twitter saying that heels hurt her feet and are really hard to walk in, so she chose not to wear anything
I
at all.
mean, makes
Misa
perfect
even ended
sense.
up with the nickname the Barefoot
Barefoot
Assassin.
Assassin. Yep.
Why? Well, first of all, she plays barefoot. And during the Gold Rush interview, when the band was asked about the maid outfits, and particularly Misa's, which didn't look like a maid outfit, Miku answered that it's an assassin maid outfit. The second thing you'll
Didn't know
notice
that.
about Misa is that she
So
always
basically,
has a bottle
Miku
of
gave
whiskey
her a
on
nickname.
amp while performing live. And she even drinks in the MV of Don't You Tell Me.
Mm-hmm.
If you look closely at every performance, you can spot the bottle that she drinks during MCs. During the US tour in 2022, she even had her own opening ceremony where she opened a can of beer in front of her mic to make a loud sound. And the
I watched that
audience
one.
really
I
loved
watched that video.
Misa used to open a can of beer or drink whiskey during MCs for a long time, and she even shared a bit of her whiskey with a fan in 2019 during a concert in the New York Mercury Lounge. She
That's crazy.
is thought to be the one who drinks the most, but if you had a chance to listen to the Radio for Omesu-sama episode aired on August 1st, 2021, you would learn that they all actually drink a lot, except for Konami.
I mean,
Falls asleep before she gets a chance to drink.
Japanese culture, right? Japanese culture is largely based on social drinking, right? Like you, even when you work like at an office and stuff like that, like you after work go with your coworkers and maybe even their boss, right? They go drink together. So doesn't surprise me at all. You know, I've been to Japan a couple of times, and a lot of people drink a lot there, and some drink even too much. It's not just a Japan thing; happens everywhere. But I feel like in Japan it's just a culture thing. You know what I mean?
Despite her love for alcohol, Misa tweeted in May 2022 that she came to realize that it was too much for her and she decided to be more careful in the future.
Yeah.
And now it's time
Good
to
for
talk
her,
about
good for
Misa's
her.
playstyle. As usual, I'll let proper bassists present
Drinking
their
too much
views
is
on
super
what they
unhealthy.
think about Misa.
Like will destroy you.
Gentlemen, if you please.
So what makes Misa a great bassist? First of all, she went to musical school, so she learned a lot about music theory. You can see that in her playing. She's constantly moving around the root note, adding or removing note at the end of her phrases, changing the tone by going all over the neck and not just staying at the low end. She masters all the playing styles.
Solo basses, am I right?
Slide, slap, pick. She knows when to use them and always use the right one at the right moment. She can switch from one to another in a blink of an eye, like when she does her pick flip to switch from pick to slap.
Yeah, that is very cool. Very technique of hers.
Her right hand work is
Probably the
so
coolest.
smooth and precise. It's mesmerizing. When it comes to her role in the band, she's a lead bassist. She
Lead
can
bassist.
flawlessly jump from just playing the root note to taking the lead and then or providing an harmony to the vocals, and all of this in the same bar. There is no boundaries in her playing. That's what makes her so interesting and very inspiring to me. She's my favorite bassist, and I hope to hear her and BAND-MAID for a lot more years.
Same.
When I think back
I agree,
about all
100%.
of the bands that I've loved for many years, you know, so many great bass players. But when I think of the bassists who really excited me, or more importantly, the ones whose parts I wanted to learn how to play, I think they all have kind of one thing in common. And that's the use of the bass, not just as a tonal and rhythmic foundation for a song or that kind of glue that holds a band together, but they use the instrument as another source of melody and melodicism and musicality.
She does that a
And I think
lot.
there are far fewer of those kinds of bassists out there. So imagine my delight as a bassist discovering BAND-MAID, where you have Misa, who's just constantly up and down the neck playing what aren't super complicated parts, but making these really musical choices about, you know, a note here versus a note here. She's in many ways a counterpart to Konami in that they're always expanding on a riff or adding new textures or new little motifs. They may play something fairly straight the first
Exactly
time,
what
but
I
after
think.
that, forget it.
Yeah.
And it's not, again, like the parts are super complicated or technically difficult. They're just really, really smart, or for me, the big thing is that they're really musical.
Exactly.
How would I describe MISA's playing style? That's a tall order. What makes her special to me is her writing and her flawless ability to judge what to play and when to play it, without shying away from taking up space. She doesn't just serve the song, filling out the lower frequencies, locking up with the drums. She's actively creating a large portion of what makes the songs what they are. The groove, drive, momentum, anticipation, tension. It's like all her parts serve a purpose larger than just playing notes that work in the right tempo. She really adds another thick layer to the onion that is BAND-MAID.
For sure.
One of my favorite habits
Like,
of
BAND-MAID
hers
wouldn't
is
sound
when
the
she's having
same
a bit of a
without her,
bass
for
solo
sure.
during the guitar solo, as can be heard in Manners and Reincarnation, for example. It's so backwards to the old tropes about backing down during a solo, but it's always so tastefully made and never distracting, rather the opposite. She also has this ability to tap into what the other instruments are doing and create her own parts from that, seamlessly switching between what instruments to follow. A prime example of that can be heard in the second verse of About Us, especially in the live version. She starts out by establishing the groove with the drums for the first 3 bars, and then a fill during the 4th bar, setting herself up for the next 4 bars, where she gradually starts playing off the vocals. The first 2 bars by matching the vocal phrases, subdivided by 16th notes, and for the second 2 bars, now the transition is complete, and now she just plays a lower harmony to the vocals. After that, she immediately switches to locking up rhythmically to Kanami's octave climb for 1 bar.
And yeah, she does
And
that
then,
a lot too.
for the last bar, she rounds everything off with a little fill.
That's why I really
in
like her as well.
16th notes, almost like a drum fill. All that during 10 bars. Her playing and writing is a big reason why I keep coming back to their music over and over again.
Thank you very much
Same.
for taking the time to share your experience and knowledge and your feelings regarding MISA's playstyle. I wonder what you, the viewer, what do you think of MISA as a bassist? I'm very interested to know what's on your mind. Let's move to the end of our journey. MISA learned to play a lot of instruments, and even though she knew which ones she wanted to learn, she ended up playing the one instrument she never even thought about. From the moment she
Kinda
picked
crazy,
up
huh?
a bass, MISA never stopped playing it. She loves bass so much that she even switched courses to become a professional bassist and live from her passion. In the end, MISA ended up with BAND-MAID thanks to the boldest move and the perfect timing. And BAND-MAID is a band where everyone shines. Everyone has a moment in every song.
True.
We're used to seeing guitarists and drummers being highlighted, but bassists? That's not very common. How many bands that you listen to allow their bassists to really shine? I'm talking
Not
about
many,
bands
honestly.
with 2 guitars. Or
I mostly
a
listen
guitar
to
and a
very,
piano.
very
I'm sure you can
heavy
find
metal,
some examples,
so-
but since its creation,
mostly guitars in there.
BAND-MAID has always found a way to allow MISA to find her spotlight. From thrill to influencer. Dice. Or even manners. During live performances introducing a song,
I love those alternate
Or to go
intro, by the
crazy
way.
on a duel
Alternative
with
intros.
Konami.
They play live. There's this famous guitar bass battle.
even though MISA's personality is mostly introverted. When she is on stage playing bass, she seems finally free.
Yeah, I'm
And
guessing
having
why
the
she's
time
also
of
drinking
her
on
life.
stage.
She even learned programming and
To
participated
win over
actively
shyness,
in the
you know what I
songwriting
mean?
process. Since she joined BAND-MAID, MISA followed her passion to become a professional bassist and surrounded herself with the best group of friends who have become very close to what we can call
Family.
a family.
Yeah. Ed Pottinger. Yeah, man, another awesome documentary, and this time about my favorite member of the band, of BAND-MAID. And what to say about her, that basically people on video already said, right? They basically said everything I think about it, and like 99%, the fact that she's a lead bassist. And personally, consider the music I listen to, mainly, I would say, basically mainly to extreme metal, you know, that metal, deathcore, metalcore, grindcore, black metal, stuff like that. So in those kind of music, usually the drums and guitars and even vocals are very, very in front of the mix, right? And the bass is usually very, very back. You know, it's not as important, but of course it needs to be there because, as they were saying in the video, the bass is the glue that keeps the bands together. And when there is no bass, you can immediately tell, and the song will sound weird, right? But I think that bass soloists like her are a lot more common in other different music genres that I don't listen often to, right? Like rock, classic rock, like blues rock, that stuff like that. Even, I don't know, jazz, blues stuff. That music that totally I don't ever listen to, you know? I'm so used to listening to metal and art stuff that I can't really stand listening to super melodic stuff. It just my brain is used on listening at least to rock, hard rock, and so on and so forth, going up from there, right? But when I discovered BAND-MAID and I discovered how cool she is as a bassist and how seamless she switches from lead to keeping time with the band, you know what I mean? Locking back with drums and stuff like that, I immediately loved her. Like, you can go back here on the channel and watch my first reaction I did on BAND-MAID, like at this time I think more than 1 year ago, and I was like immediately, like after 2 minutes listening to BAND-MAID, I was like, I like her, I like MISA, because she's a cool bassist and the way she plays is not common at all, at least between the music that I usually listen to, you know, and she immediately popped for me in the band. And after that I really started noticing Kanami because I play guitar too, and other members of the band, but MISA stayed my favorite because the way she plays bass is so freaking interesting for me, it's so alluring, you know, and as people were saying again in the video, mesmerizing. Like the way she switched between her pick and her fingers playing bass and stuff like that. That's stuff that I usually never see because, again, because of the music that I listen to, I love metal so much, you know what I mean? But metal, as other music genres, is a little bit more standardized, right? Nowadays, especially. So some things you really just don't see in metal, right? Some techniques, some ways to play, stuff like that. That's a thing that I'm noticing a lot now that I have the channel, and the fact that I'm streaming too. Like, people on stream, on Twitch, is suggesting me songs that I totally wouldn't never listen on my own, right? And some of them I really don't like because are too soft, too slow and stuff like that. But at the same time, for me it's very interesting because I get to experience and see total different kind of styles of playing music, you know, and not just singing and the composition, but just the technique they use on their instrument. Sometimes it's totally different compared to what I'm used to see. You know what I mean? And yeah, MISA is incredibly cool. I love her style, and she will always be my favorite member of the band. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, give a like and a comment if you have more suggestions for me, just want to share whatever, and definitely we'll see each other in the next one. And by the way, next of course is Miku documentary. It's gonna be 3 parts, so very, very long. But yeah, guys, we'll see each other in the next one. Rock on.